What up, guys? The Bench Buddies are back with my Week 25 MLB Power Rankings. As always, I'll be breaking down all 30 teams and where they stand heading into the last few weeks of the season. But before I get into it, hit that subscribe button down below to be entered in our giveaway at 500 subscribers. First, we'll start off with the pitchers of the week. Brandon Woodruff and Framber Valdez had two great starts this week. Woodruff had a complete game shutout against Miami, who was looking to make the playoffs, giving up only 6 hits while striking out 7. Valdez threw 7 innings in both of his starts, getting 1 win, 2 quality starts, and both of these guys earned the pitcher of the week. Hitters of the week are Juan Soto and Luis Arraez. Soto had an excellent game on Sunday, 2 home runs, 6 RBIs against Oakland, and then finished the week with 4 home runs and 13 RBIs. Luis Arraez, not known for his power, had 3 home runs in 2 games versus the Braves in which they won. So he was a key factor in getting some wins on the Braves, much needed as well to stay in the wild card hunt. The dogs of the week are the Padres, going 5-1 last week, beat the Dodgers 2-1 and swept Oakland. They're 10-5 in September. And yes, they are 6 games out of the last wild card spot, but crazier things have happened in the last 2 weeks of the season. If this team finishes, with probably 2 or 3 more losses and they can win out, they might still have a shot finishing 81-81. They need a lot to happen for that to come true and make the playoffs. But if that doesn't happen, they can play spoiler in the last week. They have 3 games against San Francisco, and obviously eliminating a division rival from the playoffs is always a good feeling as well. So if the Padres aren't in playoff contention, they can possibly ruin the Giants' chances. Then the duds of the week are the Red Sox, and this team had some hope heading into last week and the week before, as they were right there in the thick of things in the playoff. Not as many games down as they were now. Now it's kind of a lost cause in the AL, 74-76. Lost the series against the Yankees 1-3 in a 4-game set, and then swept against Toronto. This team has kind of hit a wall, and I think you're going to see this team maybe coast to a 500 record, but they can play spoiler at the end of the year, just like the Padres. They have 2 games against Tampa and 4 in Baltimore to end the year. So if Baltimore's trying to clinch not only the division, but the #1 seed in the AL, if they could go in there and sweep Baltimore, they might just take Baltimore out of the AL East championship or AL East title as well. They could possibly give Tampa the #1 seed. And then we have the biggest movers of the week. Moving up 2 spots are the Rangers, Brewers, and Yankees, and then falling the hardest are the Red Sox and Cubs after their bad weeks. Then the Astros fall a little bit as well. I'll start 30 through 21. Oakland, Kansas City, those two are going to flip-flop for number 29 in last place for the next 2 weeks. It feels like Rockies and White Sox, kind of same deal for them. Then the Nationals stay put after a very ugly week, but there's nowhere else really for them to go. The Angels, Cardinals, Mets, all right there around the high 60 win mark, but the Angels had a really bad week, so they're moving down. While the Cardinals played mediocre baseball, Mets a little bit better than mediocre, they're moving up. Then the Pirates and my Tigers are staying put there at 22 and 21, as those teams just didn't have enough in the tank to possibly stay in contention for the playoffs. Same with the Mets. They were just a big disappointment this year, but they played some decent baseball. It just wasn't good enough. 20 through 11, and this was where things get interesting. The Guardians stay put, and they're 7 out of the AL Central right now, and it's pretty much they're not going to win it. Red Sox moved down after their bad week. We've already talked about them. The Giants moved down 1 as well, and this is a team that's 2.5 back out of the last NL wildcard spot, so they need to turn it around quickly. Then those Padres, Yankees both move up 2 spots. Yankees, same spot as the Red Sox, just not as many down. I think they're kind of out of it at this point. But if they win out, or at least we lose 1 or 2 more games, maybe they have a shot, but that's a lot to ask. The Reds and Cubs right there. I mean, those 2 teams, even the Diamondbacks and Marlins, you can throw them in there. The 15 through 11, besides the Rangers, are all fighting for 2 spots in the NL wild card. As right now, the Marlins and the Diamondbacks hold those 2 spots. Well, there's 2 weeks of baseball left, lots of good games to be played, so those teams are going to be fighting for the last 2 spots. Then the Rangers, they're still fighting for an AL West spot as well, possibly can win the division as they're a game and a half out. And the Rangers, they need to figure things out quickly. The pitching, obviously Scherzer's now done for the year. Haven't had DeGrom all year. but the pitching has just been super consistent for them, no matter who they're throwing up there on the hill. And if they can figure things out, win some key series, then maybe the Rangers are your AL West champions. 10 through 1, not much changes this week. The Twins move up one because of the Cubs falling, and the Twins have more than likely ran away with the AL Central. I think there's 7.5 games up on Cleveland. With 2 weeks to go, it's pretty much almost a for sure thing at this point. Phillies and Mariners stay put after under 500 weeks. Astros move down 2 after their bad week, and the Blue Jays stay put. Then jumping into the top 5 are the Brewers after going 5-2, one of the better weeks that we saw this week. And you want to talk about the AL West there at 7-8. Astros, Mariners, and even those Rangers I was talking about just a bit ago all have a shot to win the division. And not this week, but next week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, the Mariners play the Astros, and that could pretty much decide who wins the AL West, which should be must-watch TV, and I'll actually be at one of the games for the Mariners, so stay tuned for that. But we'll jump back into the top 5 discussion here. Brewers not ran away with the division, but have just been playing such good baseball that the other teams can't keep up. And then you have the Dodgers, and the NL West is more than likely going to be theirs at this point. Rays and Orioles obviously split last weekend in a 4-game set, and Orioles have a 1.5 lead. Are they going to sustain that lead? You know, we talked about how they face the Red Sox at the end of the year. They play them 4 times, close the season. I'm sure the Red Sox are going to be gunning for them. And the Orioles, they have a lot to prove still. Are they going to be this team that comes in the playoff? And pitching is the big question mark with guys that haven't pitched in the postseason before, where Tampa has that experience. And then at 1, of course, it's the Atlanta Braves still staying put at number 1. Even after a sub 500 week, the Braves still are at number 1. And you can't tell me they're not the best team in baseball. A stacked lineup. The rotation is solid. The bullpen, middle relief guys is my biggest concern for this team heading into the playoffs. But if they have some solid outings, it's not going to be fun facing the Braves in the 8th and 9th inning, especially when they're on the road too, and they can still put up some more runs on you. You're not going to want that. But that's going to be it for this week's Power Rankings. Make sure you guys check back next week, heading into the last week of the season, to find out who the number 1 team in baseball is and if your team is moving up or down. But until the next time, the Bench Buddies are out.